Okay, an object is launched from a 20-foot high platform with a velocity of 90 feet per second. After how many seconds will it hit its target that's 10 feet above the ground? The answer in this packet is you are finding the seconds, okay? And feet and seconds are your units. So you're not finding the maximum though, okay? So you need to set up your traditional method, not the giant one with the vertex. You're not finding the vertex. So feet and seconds. So seconds is x, feet is y. So per feet per second. Now the feet per second is 90 times x. So again, this goes up and it comes down, and what causes that is the force of gravity, which is negative 16. Okay, so make your parabola, but you're not finding the vertex. Okay, if I was finding the vertex, I wouldn't be messing around with these boxes. Now, a little bit different story here. Before the 90, you have 20 feet, and after the 90, you have 10 feet. Okay, so you're going to map out your box. So you go x to the second, x, constant equals y. Okay, so negative 16 goes into the gravity, the x second. The 90 goes in for the x. Now 20 feet, okay, that's your constant, so you put 20 in for that. And then this 10 feet, check your first box, it says feet equals y, so 10 is going in for y. Okay, so write that out so it looks cleaner. Okay, now we're going to solve for x. We need to solve for x. That's the answer. So x has two answers because it's to the second power, and it's x second and it's x to the first, so we have to apply our factoring properties. Okay, so in factoring properties, you have to have one side equal to 0, so you minus 10, and that can go with 20, okay? So now you have 0. So now line up your slots, x second, x constant equals 0. You have negative 16, you have 90, and then 20 minus 10 is 10. Okay. All right, so I go GCF, there's three terms, so that's GCF, and then the table. Okay, so I'm not seeing an X in the final slot. I am seeing a negative there. Okay, so 16, 90, and 10. Okay, so 10's your smallest. 90's there, but 16 isn't. Let's go find 10 again. 16, nope. 90. Okay. So here's 10 again, here's 16, 90. I have a question, is 90 an even number? If it's an even number, it's going to be in 2's row. Okay, so 2. So you divide everything by 2, but just negative 2. So it's 8x to the second, negative 45x, and negative 5. So you bring your negative 2 over here. Okay, that's important that you do that, and then you get rid of this. Okay. Okay, so A times C. 8 times negative 5 is going to be negative 40. Okay, so that's a mismatch. Positive, negative. And you have to add to get to negative 45. 1 and 40. Right away, you know this isn't going to work because that's already too small of a gap between these two when I add to ever get to negative 45. So usually it starts wide and we narrow the gap. It's already too narrow. So this is a QF, okay? So remember how that's done. Plus minus, and it's right there for you. Opposite of B, plus or minus the square root. B squared minus 4AC, B squared minus 4AC over 2A, over 2A. Okay, so the opposite of B is 45. And then A is 8. Okay. B is negative 45. Remember, you don't make anything else opposite but that very front. and A is 5, or 8, excuse me, and C is negative 5. Now you cross this out, you have no need for that anymore. So you make your positive negative. It's not, because you know you're not going to do any more parentheses, so there's no sense having it. So you have 45. On bottom you take 2 times 8, and that's 16. Now make your square root and figure out what we're taking the square root of by taking negative 45 to the second minus 4, 8, and negative 5. So I got 2,185. Now find the square root of that. Second square root, 2,185. 46.74. And that's how I'm going to get my two answers. Okay, 5.73. Then we minus it. Negative 0.11. Now obviously you take your higher answer, which is 5.73. Okay, we're going to do one more. I mean, there's only one problem in this one. A football is punted from a height of 5 feet with a velocity of 60 feet per second. After how many seconds will the ball be caught at a height of 6 feet? Okay. So feet and seconds, and you are finding these seconds here. You are not finding the maximum. So we got feet and seconds. So seconds is x, feet is y. So per feet per second. Okay, so the feet per second is 60. And again, this thing comes up, it goes down. So don't make a table. It's pulled up and down by the force of gravity, which is negative 16. Okay, now before the 60 feet per second, we have 5 feet. After the 60 feet per second, we have 6 feet. X second, x constant equals y. So negative 16, then 60, and then this 5 right there is your constant, and then this 6 feet needs to go into our equation for y. So now we have negative 16x to the second power plus 60x plus 5 equals 6. Now y is out and I can solve for my x. But x is to the second power, so there's two answers. So you have x to the second, and you've also got x to the first. Okay, so you are using your factoring properties when that's the case, when you have x to different powers. Okay, you have to have the 0. You need to get that 6 out of there. Now you have 0, but then you would subtract it from your 5. So you have x second, then the x, then the constant equals 0. So I've still got negative 16 for my x to the second. I've got 60 for my x. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Okay, so you see there's 3 terms. So if you can factor it, you're using your trinomial procedure. T. It's right there too. Remember, go to this. Okay, there's no x. There is a negative. 16, 60, and 1. Well, that'd just be 1, but since it's negative 1, do what I always told you. Put a parentheses and actually go through with it. I don't want to change the rules. Positive 1. Put your negative 1 out here. Then go A, B, C. Remember, if we would get the table to work, we got to know what the A is. Okay, 16x second. Okay, 1 times 16 is 16. It's positive, so that's a match. So put 2 signs of match. Now you're adding to negative 60. 16 divided by 1 and 16. That's already way too narrow. Okay, so if you start off and the gap between the two is too narrow at the beginning, there ain't no way that you're going to be able to ever get to negative 60, so that's QF. So, opposite of B, plus or minus the square root, B squared minus 4AC, B squared minus 4AC over 2A, over 2A. So the opposite of my B is positive 60. Okay. B is nothing else goes opposite. Okay, we put in the actual value. Then 4 is always there. A is 16. C is positive 1. Just put 1 if it's positive. Then A is 16. Okay, so cross this out. So you're taking this route. So you got 60 in front of the plus minus sign. On bottom, 2 times 16 is 32. Then you make your square root and you plug the inside in, because you got negative 60 to the second minus 4, 16, and 1. Help if I did it right. 3,536. Okay. So I find that what that square root of that is. Okay, 59.46. Now we take 60 plus 59.46, click equals, don't divide on the same screen, then divide by 32, 3.73. Then we take the 60 and minus 59.46, click equals, then divide by 32. 0.01 or 02. Put your higher answer. It's 2 positives, and that's okay. That means it gets to 6 feet right after the 5 feet on the way up, but that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the 3.73.